I don't buy NASCAR. Personally. Can't prove it. Don't think NASCAR's real.
So I came across something on the internet yesterday, and it might have been the dumbest video I've ever watched. That's the only reason why I'm making this, because mainly to have a laugh. And also, disclaimer: if you guys don't know who Chael Sonnen is, Chael Sonnen is MMA legend, one of the best MMA fighters ever to ever grace this planet. Black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, could snap my neck in 2 seconds. So I just want to point that out. But what he has said recently about NASCAR is, and I would actually love to know if this was satire or not. I don't think it is, but it genuinely could be one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard of anything. I've heard a lot of dumb things, but what you are about to listen to might be the dumbest. Next thing I know, Chael Sonnen could take offense at some random dude sitting in his room, talking about him, and snap my neck in 2 seconds. So if I never see you guys again, my neck has been snapped, because he will snap my neck. Shout out to all the Patreon supporters for always supporting the channel. You guys are the absolute best. Now let's get into this insanity. The video is titled, "Jake Paul Will Be Successful in NASCAR." I would like to point out, this video really doesn't talk about Jake Paul a lot. This is Chael Sonnen, obviously, 44 years old, beautiful man, beautiful guy. Again, will snap my neck off in 2 seconds. Beautiful YouTube channel, talks about MMA, very smart about MMA. But let's just listen to the first 25 seconds of this. I'm gonna pause it after 25 seconds. Okay, we're gonna listen to the first 25 seconds of this video. All right, and then I'm just gonna shut up at that point.
Jake Paul said when his boxing career is done, he is considering going into NASCAR. I liked that. I liked it because I think he's telling us the truth. I think that's straight. And I think he would make it to the top. I really do. I don't buy NASCAR. Personally. Can't prove it. Don't think NASCAR's real. NASCAR, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and get a different result. NASCAR does the same thing over and over with the same people in the same cars doing the same thing, and every Sunday they get a different result. There was one time.
All right, I paused it after 35 seconds. It said 25 seconds. So, yeah, let's start from the first thing he said. Jake Paul would go to the top of NASCAR. I can't tell if Mr. Sonnen here is being serious. I think he is. I think he actually believes what he's saying, and I get it, man. Like, listen, we all say stupid things. We're all uneducated about certain things to get clicks, to get views, to generate revenue. I get it. Like, I completely understand the game. If you make yourself look like an idiot, you will get views. Just based off the first 35 seconds, I want to just show something right here, because Mr. Sonnen is a great guy. And I really believe that video is just him being stupid to try to make views. It didn't work. Look, 38,000 views here, and you have all his other videos that actually talk about MMA, which is what he's knowledgeable about. They all make more views. They're all watched more because everyone knows that he is an MMA legend, and he knows what he's talking. I've watched some of his videos when it comes to MMA, because I am an MMA fan. Not a big MMA fan, but I watch occasionally. Like certain pay-per-view fights I'll definitely watch, but I won't watch every weekend, and sometimes I won't even watch every pay-per-view. He is educated about that. This thing about when you want to say stupid things, put Jake Paul in the title, put NASCAR in the title to generate that revenue and those clicks and that engagement is interesting. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll probably put in the title of the video, Chael Sonnen knows nothing about NASCAR. I get the game. It's the game we all play. I understand it. But the first 30 seconds of this video, he said Jake Paul would go to the top of NASCAR with no training, and that he doesn't believe in NASCAR. He doesn't think it's real, which is, I don't know what to, like, does he think it's WWE? I don't know. Let's just keep watching. First of all, Jake Paul wouldn't complete a lap. Let's just put him at Darlington in a 650 horsepower stock car and tell him to run a lap. He wouldn't be able to do it. All right, that is a factual statement. But, I mean, I don't know why we're talking about this. But this is for entertainment purposes. Let's keep watching.
Somebody won a race 2 weeks in a row, and then they won the third as well. And this was like world news in NASCAR. I didn't realize that wasn't common. You guys have a vehicle. I have a vehicle. If you come and we race, The light turns green and we punch it down and we race. Whichever one of us wins is going to win tomorrow and the day after that and the day following that. But in NASCAR, they get a different result, to the point that it was shocking news in the industry. And I'm going back about 6 years, but somebody had won 3 races in a row. It was shocking. They hadn't seen this before. And I'm going, oh my gosh, that's weird. Because I'll just go on the example that I just gave you. You have a car, I have a car. If we race, whoever wins will win tomorrow and the next day and the next day, as long as it's still me and you and it's still in the same vehicle.
If you and me race in a car, so Jail's, I can't believe him. Why am I making this video? If you and me go one-on-one in a car like it's Need for Speed Underground, the same person will win every single time. That's what he thinks NASCAR is. I think it's because maybe he thinks it's similar to track racing. Like if you put Usain Bolt versus someone else, 1v1 every single time. Yeah, most likely Usain Bolt will always win. But first of all, I don't think Mr. Sonnen here understands that in NASCAR there's 40 different cars or there's multiple fields, different tracks. I don't know why I'm explaining any of this. Let's just keep listening to him. You guys already know. All right? I should not have to explain any of this. This unbelievable take where he genuinely is being serious. Disclaimer. He can snap my neck in 2 seconds. All right? We all understand. All right? He can snap your neck in 2 seconds. But some of the stuff he's saying it genuinely is some of the dumbest things I've heard. But let's keep watching.
Then NASCAR does something very interesting too, where they try to change the conditions. Now, my father was a horseman, breeder of the year multiple times, including post-mortem, including for ponies that he already had in the barn that he hadn't got to the track yet. So I spent a lot of time at the horse track, and there would always be talk if they were going to run in the mud or they were running in the sand. If it had rained that day or if it hadn't. My dad would always tell me, it's all garbage, Chael. He said, we only have so many horses, but every Sunday we're going to have them race. So the only way you can get any interest or get people to place bets in other directions is to act as though there's a variable that would change the outcome. It's not true.
All right, we're now talking about horse racing and trying to compare horse racing to NASCAR and that the same horse would win every time, which isn't true because obviously let's talk about horse racing. The Triple Crown is the biggest achievement you can do in horse racing. If this was factually true, then the Triple Crown would have been achieved all the time by multiple different horses because that horse would always win since they always go up against the other horses. I don't think he understands the concept of racing. I don't know.
I'm not here to tell you that. I've never been a horse and I've never tried running in the mud as opposed to the sand. I don't know firsthand.
I've never been a horse. I've never run in the mud, let alone the sand.
I'm not here to tell you that. I've never been a horse and I've never tried running in the mud as opposed to the sand. I don't know firsthand. But like most of you, we believe what our father told us, and my father was deeply invested in this. He was also...
That's the best line in the entire video. Oh, God. All right, let's keep watching.
recognized for his hard work. He said it doesn't make a bit of difference. It's the same horse doing the same thing against the same competition. That was his stance. I carry that over to NASCAR. I don't buy NASCAR for a second. I think that's a little elitist club. When I watch NASCAR and all the money that you got to have, it looks like as long as you have money and fame, you can get into NASCAR. And if you guys and that upsets you and you think I'm wrong, Jake Paul's about to prove it.
So it's funny that just, he said NASCAR is an elitist club. And right when he said that, he said, if you guys think I'm wrong, because he really believes that, to be fair, that's the one thing he said in this whole video that you actually could debate, which in sports today, anyways, I would say in most sports, let's just bring up football, soccer, as Americans like to call it. That used to be a game for everyone. But nowadays, if you want to actually learn to play elite football, you have to pay a lot of money and be that elitist club. Racing has been elitist for the last 2 decades. I mean, it wasn't elitist back in the day, but now it is because everything costs so much. Any form of racing not any form. If we're talking about track racing and stuff like that, no, that's not elitist. But we're talking about actual vehicle racing. kart racing, even if you want to get to the high level of karting, okay, we're not even talking about a major racing sport or anything. Like, we're not talking about NASCAR or Australian supercars or Formula One or BC or Le Mans or British touring cars. Forget any of that. Just take a go-kart onto a track. It is one of the most expensive things you could do. It's generally more expensive than golf, and golf is an elitist. So that whole argument of it's elitist, it's like, well, everything is. Everything is. Nowadays, literally everything is elitist. You want to do something and you want to do it at a high level, you're gonna have to pay. Now let's listen to him talk about Jake Paul. Let's go back to the dumb parts.
So be careful, you come out firing. Because Jake Paul does not race cars. He does not even own a car. And if Jake Paul went over to NASCAR, he's going to be on TV. And he's going to be watched just as much as the Brickhouse 500. NASCAR's not going to keep him.
The Brickhouse. I think he did that on purpose. Brickhouse 500. It's the Brickyard 400. But I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose.
Out. And this has never been done. This has never been done where some star rolled over. Well, why wouldn't you, right? If you're fixing events anyway, it has been done in the world of pro wrestling.
Ah, there we go. I knew it was coming. So, as I said earlier in the video, I think he's comparing NASCAR to WWE. And he just said it right there. He thinks NASCAR's fixed. It's been done in pro wrestling. Again, he's an MMA legend. He probably has a very strong disdain for WWE because it is, it's entertainment. It's when you say it's art. It's like a performance. It's like theater. It's not necessarily sport. You still have to do a lot of crazy tricks and crazy acrobats and be very in incredible shape and be able to do all these different moves, which is technically wrestling, but you're not actually trying to beat the other guy up. That's WWE. So yeah, it's fixed. It's scripted. What I guess he thinks NASCAR is scripted. For some reason in his brain, he's taking WWE and putting that right with NASCAR, but NASCAR's genuine auto racing, just like everything else is, genuine auto racing. I don't really know why he thinks that. I'm trying to understand why that connection is being made in his brain, but I don't know.
Who made its same run on Southern white uneducated males, same ones that NASCAR solicits to, and why? Because for the same reason, in my opinion, I really think this. I don't think NASCAR is real.
So the reason why he connected it is Southern males, white Southern males, and yada. Okay, let's just keep listening.
You got a car, I got a car. Let's go race.
So not how it works.
Do you dispute that if you beat me today, me and my same car is going to beat you next week? Do you dispute that in the least? No, of course not.
No.
I made this argument once before. My buddy Reese calls me up. He's so upset. Like, he had a dream of being a NASCAR guy. He was so upset. How could I say that? The same two cars with the same two drivers. Of course you can have a different result. If the
Again, he doesn't even understand that there's 40 different drivers and that each track requires a different craft of racing and it takes different skill. You're not just going straight. Let's just, I guess, keep listening. Why am I making this? This is one of the dumbest things. Why am I even sharing this? Oh, God.
Track is different. It's like, no, Reese, my father grew up in this.
Yeah.
I've been to tracks. I've taken money. I've been to the show and seen the strings. We build that narrative to sell to the audience, and the audience buys it every time. The track and the conditions do not change the race.
The track and the conditions do not change the race. Should I even try to explain that? Let's just all laugh as a collective group, as we listen to Mr. Sonnen here actually believe that. And he does believe it, which is just sad. It's really sad. Oh, man.
And why would they? Do you know people like this? You ever driving around your neighborhood, there's no traffic, all of a sudden you're in a traffic jam, it's the same people in the same neighborhood, but it rained that day? Because I see it too. Somebody can't drive because the rain was there, right? Yeah, I guess if you're that kind of nerd, okay, fair enough. These are professionals. They pee in a diaper while they're racing and have somebody else change their tires and add fuel. A little drizzle isn't going to change anything.
Okay. Jesus Christ. I think you should talk to Lando Norris. Does a little drizzle change how the racing is? I think so. Think maybe when you're on slick tires going at 200 miles per hour, just that little bit of. You know what? I think we should put Mr. Sonnen in a car and dump oil on the track, and just tell him to go have fun.
And I don't attempt to digress into the fact that NASCAR is fixed. That's an opinion. I just laid out.
Okay. It's an opinion. Okay. So in WWE, it's a fact, but in here, it's an opinion. Okay.
Out why. I think those are very logical, and you're going to have a hard time. You'll be mad at me.
No.
You'll be mad at me with your little NASCAR jacket on and your bottle of Ham's beer.
No.
But I don't think that you could.
I don't own a NASCAR jacket, and I don't drink. I'm actually a pretty big Arsenal fan, as you can see right there. So, again, the stereotype doesn't really fit. My parents are from Iran. I'm not a white Southern male. You know, there's actually a lot of African-American black NASCAR fans now. There's a lot of Muslim fans. There's a lot of Mexican, Hispanic fans now. We actually have a Hispanic driver now. But I get it. You know, we gotta get that country music and gotta drink that beer because hell yeah, brother. Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah.
Argue what I just said. And if you took anybody at random, bring your car, I'll bring my car, and we race, we could turn around at the other side.
This is not
and we
Need for
could
Speed
race right
Underground.
on back, but we're going to have the same winner.
Oh, God.
And if we don't, we would literally be breaking the definition of insanity. Point that I'm getting at. If Jake Paul was to go and race cars, it would work. And Jake Paul has done one of the hardest things for any celebrity to do. So many people get this wrong, and they think if a guy is famous, he can go into any world of entertainment. But we've seen that tried by many people, and it doesn't work. I could tell you a number of athletes, stars, Shaquille O'Neal, Roy Jones Jr., top of my head here, that went over and tried to sing, and it didn't work. The people didn't want to hear them. If you were liked and loved in one area, and you try to take yourself out, but you're telling the fans that they have to come with you, the fans will generally remind you who's in charge. But he thinks he's going to tell the audience what he's going to do, and they're going to come along and he's finding out. No, we're not. And you can have box after bus after bus, or you could just listen to what I'm saying right now. But Jake Paul got an audience to come from Disney to YouTube to the squared circle.
Yeah.
And he's not the same guy in the squared circle as he was on Disney or on YouTube. Yes. He made the jump, and he brought everybody with him. He made this transition slow, and he made it strategically. And they will definitely follow him to NASCAR. Of course.
He wouldn't be able to complete a lap. No one would license him to... God. You know what? I'm not going to disrespect boxing, but because Mr. Paul has actually never boxed a boxer, so, you know, I respect what he's doing. What Jake's doing is it's the ultimate hustle, making millions of dollars in boxing without actually fighting a boxer. It's incredible because boxing has a lot of different parts to it. The fight game, if you have personality and you know how to trash talk, and you know how to bring people in, if you already had a following, yeah, you go into boxing. When it comes to do NASCAR, to go into racing, you actually need to have talent. Like, I can get into a boxing ring. If I had 5 million followers, I could get into a boxing ring and I could throw a punch, okay? Would I be able to throw a good punch? No, but I'd be able to throw a punch. Give credit to where credit's due. Jake Paul has actually been trying to learn boxing. He actually is a fairly decent amateur boxer, but he's never even fought another amateur boxer. So it's like, even in amateur boxing, he's not even that good. It's just that it's making him look good via what he's doing, okay? But in NASCAR, I promise you, he wouldn't make a lap. Not a lap. He would either hit the wall, he'd either spin out, or he'd be 15 seconds off the pace. And that's just the fact of the matter. Because this stuff is hard, and it takes years and years and years of muscle memory and knowledge and learning to how to drive these cars. Now, if you wanted to take him and put him on Daytona, sure. I mean, I can make a lap at Daytona. You can make a lap at Daytona. I'm pretty sure Jake Paul can make a lap at Daytona. But when it comes to the actual craft of the racing, like when it comes to like actually going to a track that takes you having to understand the car, not a chance in the world. Finish off, Mr. Sonnen.
Talking to you about would NASCAR keep him out?
Yeah.
That's the only place it gets interesting. Like, I'm not what you would call an old man, but I'm not as young as I used to be. But my
True.
body still feels good. And I always told people if I ever
You'd
got too
snap my
old
neck in 2
or I had an
seconds.
injury where I couldn't
Mhm.
continue in MMA, I would just go to the NFL. Like, it's my default plan. I would call up one of the teams. I'd go to try it. I'd beat everybody on the field. And I'd have this spot in the NFL, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to pursue a real and a true and an honest that felt
Nice
good to
dig
me
at the
sport
NFL.
first.
Nice.
And if that's what Jake's doing, I, for one, would get it. I would just fully understand that. And I get breaking news all the time on sports. I don't talk to you guys sports, but I know a lot about them. I got some news just by example, and don't even bother checking this. I'm 100% right. Tom Brady's team is out of the playoffs. He won't be at the Super Bowl. Retirement talk is already swirling around Brady. Try to get that somewhere else.
But oh god. All right. That's going to be it for me. Hopefully we all enjoyed that experience. Hopefully you learned something new here or you lost some brain cells. I'm going to go and eat some lunch and think about if I could get into NASCAR, apparently. I don't know. I'm not as popular as Jake Paul, but apparently it takes no skill. So I'm going to go see if I could maybe figure it out. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Hopefully you don't talk about things you don't know about. Or at least just try to learn them. Education's a good thing, you know? All right, take care. Have fun. Be you. All right?